Hi, it's Alice Chance from Transition Partners. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my vlog today. Everyone's invited to my party. It's all about creating a digitally inclusive space within tech. Enjoy!
Thank you for joining me today, Archana, on my vlog. Everybody's invited to my party. I spoke with Archana last week and we had a really honest discussion about her story. I think it's going to be really empowering for a lot of people to hear sort of her background, what she's gone through, and I'm really happy to have her with me today. So if you'd like to introduce yourself today, then Archana, and sort of how you identify.
Thank you so much, Alice. I mean, I feel so welcomed and I feel so safe about sharing my story with you, the way your blog has been, and I have been watching it, and I really wanted to be part of it. Right. So I identify myself as a single mom. I'm from an Asian Indian origin, survivor of domestic violence, PCS. If you don't know about it, it's a post-concussion syndrome. It's a brain injury. And also PTSD, anxiety, depression, you name it. I mean, went through a lot in my life.
Yeah, so I myself am someone who was in an abusive relationship for 4 years. I've suffered with post-traumatic stress disorder as well. Still have bouts of depression and anxiety. So I feel like we really were able to touch on this conversation, and I feel like it's a really powerful thing to speak about. I think a lot of people don't realise how much domestic abuse and violence can affect your career, how it can affect you as a woman. It affects all areas of your life, but definitely it's a massive impact on my career and my plans and my future, because I felt like I was stopped and I was stunted and I couldn't continue. I mean, your story is sent you all over the world, but sort of what does diversity and inclusion mean to you then, Archana?
So to me, diversity means that it's anything, like any kind of dimension that for a specific individual or a group of individuals that makes them unique. It could be from your background, your experiences, or your sex, sexual orientation, and ethnicity and stuff. Whatever it is which makes you unique. And also the way that we all, like as individuals, learn from each other.
Yeah. So would you tell me a bit about your story, so how you've ended up here in the UK? So you are a business analyst, which is what I normally recruit in. So we have a lot to talk about already when it comes to sort of technology, but sort of how you've sort of ended up in the UK, and tell me a bit about your story.
Yes, sure. So I came to UK in October 2019 last year, after my divorce was sorted out and I got the custody of my children, and I really wanted to start over again and thinking that I could, leave my past behind and, start all over with a job here. But, as the lockdown started and all, it is nothing. I mean, it always come behind you, right?
Yeah.
So I was really, I was down with anxiety, depression, and the last thing I wanted to be like to continue the chain of abuse or anything over the kids. So the reason I am trying all these things and I wanted to come here was that I wanted to keep my children safe, and I wanted to show them a new way of life where they feel safe, loved, and all. Especially for my daughter, I don't want her to be in an abusive or an arranged marriage where she didn't want to be. Rather, I want her to have her own freedom and choices in future. So, which is a like one man, one woman journey, where I'm from a background, it just these abuse and all are kind of validated and.
Yeah. So before that, you were living in America, weren't you, with your husband?
Yeah. Yes.
Your husband now, who also works in tech, but you were working in tech, and you went and did was it like a master's?
Yes, I did my MBA in the US. So I went to USA in 2008 with the H-1B work visa for an on-site opportunity for a client. I was married that time, and at that time my mentality was that I'm a professional woman, a wife. My feelings or anything doesn't have any importance. I need to just serve my husband, serve my job and stuff. But when things keep dumping on you, and when I become the mother and all, it became even depression, which I didn't know it was depression.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be known as a battered woman. You feel like you are not any of those, and you want to keep going.
I think and now realizing that you have depression is still it's one of the hardest steps. It's like one of the first, well, it's obviously the first step is like realizing
Yeah,
you have this illness and I have to live
yeah,
with it. And I think there's a sense of denial, or the
yeah.
sense of like, no, I'm fine,
I'm
I
fine. Yeah,
feel a bit sad, I'm fine, I'm not depressed, I'm not there's so many other people that could be going through so much worse. And I think that's one thing is like I personally always looked at my life compared to other people that were suffering a lot more than me and thought, I'm fine. There's people out there who are suffering a lot worse, but you should never. I think you always, once someone says it to you or you realize yourself, you realize deep down that it is, it has been affecting your whole life and you don't really understand how much of your life it affects.
Yeah, it really is that you would focus on your responsibilities and work and kind of like deny it and keep it away, but it always keeps coming. So for me, I think it was back in 2013 when my son was, I think, 1 or 2 years old, and my daughter was 3 or 4 years old. So I was feeling so down, and I was even suicidal, and I was blaming my parents for the arranged marriage and all those things, which made me end up here. And then I was about to like thinking about killing myself. I didn't see a way forward in my mind that moment. And I thought like, okay, like what if my daughter, when in her future comes in front of me with a challenge in life, whatever it is, like what would I say? Like ask her to give up, or just encourage her to move forward or find the ways forward. So that made me an instinct, gave me an instinct that I should try something out to find myself. I didn't know what was wrong. I couldn't name anything like what's really making me feel bad, but I wanted to like find my voice, find my way forward, or find myself. So that is why I thought of like maybe try something new. So that's how I wrote GMAT, which is the entrance for the MBA in the US. And luckily, I got into UConn School of Business for Masters in Business Administration in scholarship, with the scholarship there.
Wow, that's great.
So that's how I ended up studying there. And it was, when I started, it was very difficult. So I do talk with a lot of people there who are scared or reluctant about starting MBA and all, because of a lot of different reasons. You just have to start. And it was not an easy journey for me, but there were people who were stopping me not to give up on the course as well.
There's people that believed in you.
Yeah. So I finished it strong, actually a semester early, and also got into a job, a very high-pay job, also with Bank of America.
You told me as well that you would stay up until like 4 a.m. working.
Yeah.
Because you'd go to work in the day, then look after your children in the evening, and then stay up till 4 a.m. doing your university work, which is unbelievable.
It was like, I think for women like me in a marriage, I think many other women could relate, where I was, as a wife, I had to have the family responsibility as the primary, and your whatever it is, like professional or studies are secondary. So that is how the dynamic was, at least I understood that way. So it was like at home, I had to make sure I do all the chores, take care of 2 kids, so they were toddlers. And only after they all went to sleep, I could like open my homeworks or assignments and work on those. So that's how it was.
You eventually, you divorced your husband.
Yes. So what happened was that, so I was having a very strong feeling that I could change everything. Like when I build my confidence, I earned the respect and all those things, and I would be able to fix my family. But it didn't really happen. I ended up in domestic violence victim shelter, and all these things that I was hiding within me, all the mental issues and depression and all, it kind of popped out.
Yeah.
Like bursting out.
Isn't it? Yeah.
at a balloon, and it was very difficult for me that time. I was very vulnerable, realization, the denial, and all those things, and
Yeah.
I was manipulated very badly.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't seek, or I didn't get my family support, because they all kind of believed that I changed because of this job and
Yeah.
friends outside Indian culture. I changed. I forgot the family values, and I didn't even try to like talk to my parents and all that time. I
Yeah.
was like trying to fix myself, like hold my kids and stuff. Like, it was a journey where you feel like you are a wounded, wounded stray dog. I would say sometimes you feel
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
getting poked from all sides all the time.
Definitely. And you feel like you don't want people to talk about it to you as well. I used to feel like that. I didn't want to speak to my family about the issues I was going through because I didn't want to talk to them about it. I didn't want to have that conversation or make that confession and
Yeah.
just have talk. I just didn't want to talk about it. I could talk to other people and I could talk about anything else, but I didn't want to talk about that. I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to talk about how I was feeling. And I was saying earlier that I'd get angry from it. My emotions were very angry. I think that was like the sadness that I went through was more anger than sort of crying or whatever. I wasn't like that really. I was very angry at everything.
Yeah. Me too. Like anger is something that prevents you from having open communication there. Like it is like you cannot like you're going through all these issues and stress and all. We wish like somebody who understands us for everything that we are facing right now comes and talk, but that never happens.
No, it doesn't happen. You say something, aren't you? And you're like, this time it'll be better, or this time it'll change, or this time I'll be okay. And yeah, but you eventually you seeked help from a charity called Behind Closed Doors.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm very thankful for Behind Closed Door, the charity. What happened was that during the lockdown, like when I was really struggling emotionally, like I said before, the last thing I wanted to be an abusive mother to my kids, like my anger or issues and all. Especially they were at home with me, and I was working. So I reached out to the school, the kids' school, and talked to them that this is what I was going through, which was a difficult thing to do. But they connected me to Behind Closed Door. So I started getting telephone counseling sessions, which is really the reason I have been able to like survive through this lockdown. In June I came to know that my current job would end in end of July and all. So a lot of difficult things happened during that time, but I am alive and surviving. I'm very grateful to Behind Closed Doors.
Yeah. So obviously you're going back to university now in September, aren't you?
Yes.
How do you feel like this has all affected your career and education? I know we were speaking a bit before the recording, but how do you feel sort of suffering with PTSD and being a survivor of domestic abuse has affected your career and your...
I mean, I should say that I might not even have thought about doing MBA if I didn't go through difficulties that time. But at the same time, like it has been very exhaustive. Like from that time, like I'm like kind of, you feel like you are building something up and it falls over again, and it's like the ants, like the little ants. They build their house and then somebody like step on it and it goes, and then you can. So I mean, again, like thinking my children in front of me, especially my daughter, I never feel like I want to give up. But again, like it has been really challenging, especially the job in Bank of America. I lost that job because of these traumas and vulnerabilities and how people took advantage of me and stuff. And then back in India, restarted my career again, which is not relevant to the MBA or up to the experience and my education that I had, but I had to take it because I wanted to move forward, right? I don't want to end up as a victim. My story doesn't end here.
No, definitely doesn't.
So you want to move forward. So then I got an opportunity in UK for the same company that I worked in India, and came here. And then again, like your PTSD and all, like you might be doing all the work that you're assigned to and you are a champion there, but you might not be confident in talking or, you know, in an authoritative way or assertiveness because of the fears or different issues that you're going through. So that is something.
Definitely. And for you to move from America to India to then to England,
Yeah.
while still suffering from with all of this and 2 children, as a single woman is unbelievable, and you've done so well to sort of get here. But I know it's hard, and we were saying before that a lot of people don't understand sort of how PTSD and I guess depression affects your career and your job. You feel like you can't reach goals that you would like to reach. You feel like it kind of stops you from achieving things.
Yeah.
I mean, you were able to find sort of power within yours to go for your MBA and to move and to leave your husband, and you've done so well for being able to do that. But I think there needs to be a lot more awareness, and there needs to be a lot more sort of workplace understanding of PTSD, depression, and how it affects people, and how it affects their day-to-day life, their work-life balance, and opening up and being honest to people about being a survivor of domestic abuse isn't something people do often.
No,
It's something people talk about in the workplace.
No, and I honestly, I never felt comfortable as declaring my status or the disability status in the job applications as well. You know, you feel like you are judged or you would be discriminated based on that. So that is something like I think that it should be treated as some of the other illnesses or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. So how do you feel, I guess we've actually just touched on this, how do you think there's anything else businesses can do to sort of improve their diversity when it comes to sort of, or inclusion when it comes to PTSD? I guess it's all about workplace culture and creating a safe and open space.
Yeah, so what I think is that in workplaces I have noticed, or at least I felt embarrassed in a group of people who knows a little bit of my story. People wouldn't talk openly, but we can see that there are conversations. I would like, especially in tech industry, right? There is multinational, multicultural. There are a lot of people from different contracting roles and all coming together. So I believe that we need to have a culture where people feel open and welcomed, and for whatever they are, you know, and also mental health issues should be treated in a way that how you treat any other illnesses. It's kind of like you cannot see it in front of you, but at the same time, it should be given the same. I mean, nobody is immune to any of those. Life happens, right? Any kind of trauma can happen to anybody. Rather than judging someone's or judging somebody's like decisions or what they did in the past or what they shouldn't have done, and you know, holding them accountable. So I personally felt it a lot in the Indian culture where I mean, in my family, I'm the only one who got divorced, right? So it was difficult in a work environment also. People think that you did something dumb or, you know, reckless or something, and that's why you're facing all these things.
And it's admitting defeat as well, isn't it? And sort of owning your not mistakes, but owning your situation, and that you've done so well to sort of leave, and because you get so comfortable in that situation that it's hard, but you've thought about your children and you did the best thing for them, and that's, I guess, something you should always be really proud of. So both of us have had therapy. I had EMDR and a mixture of CBT, and you had CBT and hypnotherapy. And you went through some of the therapy with the Behind Closed Doors charity. What sort of power do you feel like that gave you?
I mean, I'm talking openly about these things because of the influence of those therapies, which helped me understand that I'm not the only one going through all these stuff.
Yeah.
And it also kind of empowered me to like kind of move forward rather than you falling off with all these things. Like, it's like clearing the mud and kind of moving forward.
Definitely. I found it. I think therapy is something that should be spoken about a lot more. Somebody said to me today that going to therapy should be as normal as someone going to the gym, because it's working on your body, but just working on your mind. And I definitely agree. I think it's sort of there's a negative stigma about having therapy. But for me, it's changed my life. Really affected me in a positive way. I feel so much better than I ever did before. Mentally, I feel more capable, more empowered. I believe in myself more. And I feel like I can achieve more stuff. But you are right.
It also gives a lot of positive affirmation and kind of like reinforcement and stuff, and give you tools to move forward as well.
Yeah, definitely. So as well, you mentioned there's lots of like other resources and warning signs of abuse. So what I'll do is I'll attach those to the vlog when I post that, because I'm really interested in this charity Behind Closed Doors. Sound like they did some really good stuff.
Yes,
really helped you through your dark times.
And yeah, other point that I was trying to mention before was that I think this mental health related education needs to be provided in, not like as a mandatory training or anything. Make it as a culture that people would be aware and, you know, kind of reinforce using some activities and stuff where like that is like people, it would help the community, the society, and it could also change the world, right? If a multinational big tech company has this a good inclusive culture where everybody is aware of mental health issues and are empathetic and all, you know, it would be a ripple effect where I think
definitely. I love that. I think it does definitely need to be something that's spoken about more openly. And hopefully conversations like this are sort of the triggers that will make that sort of thing happen. But thank you so much for speaking with me today, Chana. I've really enjoyed talking to you. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Like I said, I'll post some sort of resources for people to have a look at about domestic abuse, because this is never an easy conversation to talk about somebody, talk with somebody about. So thank you for sharing your story with me today, and hopefully it will help people in the future, or, you know, it's something that we shouldn't be ashamed of talking about. So thank you so much.
Of course. I hope a lot of people comes forward and, you know, shine a light on these dark spaces.
Definitely. Okay. Well, thank you, Archana. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Thank you.